Kurunji Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
Free bus for LKG to 8th standard.
Free, hygienic and nutritious food.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
Kurunji Education Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurunjischoolnkl.in.
In continuation to the last class, in this class, we are going to start the new concept, that is what collisions. Okay, in the same chapter, work, energy and power, we started the topic collisions. Okay, right. So in our daily life experience, we are seeing so many accidents on national highways. At the same time, when we were played, that is what a game with marbles, right? So there also, if one marble is going to hit another marble, what happens after completion of that interaction? After completion of that interaction. Similarly, in our atom also, a nucleus is there. In that nucleus, neutrons and protons are present. So proton is positively charged, and outside the nucleus electron is there. So this electron is going to influenced by the proton because of opposite charge, right? So there is attractive force. Similarly, if you take two protons, because of having same charge, those two are going to repel each other, right? So whatever you take, whether it is accident took place on national highway, otherwise that is what the interaction between the two marbles, otherwise the interaction between the two primary particles, whatever you are taking, the situation is okay. But here in all these cases, we have to say that an interaction took place among the bodies. An interaction took place among the bodies. So that interaction is said to be collision. That interaction is said to be collision. Okay, right. So if you want to define the word collision, we can say like this. That is an interaction among the bodies in short interval of time. An interaction among the bodies in short interval of time. Right? I'll repeat once again. Collision is an interaction among the bodies in shortest interval of time. In short interval of time. Okay, right. Okay. So while colliding two bodies, what happens there? That is the general doubt. Okay. So there, conservation of momentum, that is what exchanging of momentum and exchanging of energy will take place. Exchanging of momentum and exchanging of energy will take place, right? So that is what we are going to discuss in this class. What are the types of collisions? That is what elastic collisions and inelastic collisions, and collisions in one dimension, right? So that and all we are going to discuss in this class. So till now, from the starting of this class, I told you what is collision. What is collision? Okay, right. So now we are going to discuss collision between two bodies. That is what one is mass m1, another one is mass m2, right? One is mass m1, another one is mass m2. So these two only will become here. This is what m1 and this is what m2. This is the situation after collision. Here this will come to hit this, that is what m2. Afterwards the m1 and m2 are moving like this. So the angle between m1 and m2 is theta 1 plus theta 2, but the angle between the direction of motion of m1 to the horizontal is theta 1, and the direction of motion of m2 with the horizontal is theta 2. So here we consider two masses, that is what m1 and m2. m1 and m2. The particle m1 is moving with speed v1I. That is what, because of it is 1 now, that's why 1, and it is the initial, that is what, v1 into I, right? So you don't confuse here, either this v or this v, both are indicating velocity, right? That is what, the v1 into I. The subscript I implying initial, we can consider m2 to be at rest. So m2 is at rest. So then what can we say? The velocity of m2, the initial velocity of m2 is 0. The initial velocity of m2 is 0, you can say. Okay, right. Next, no loss of generality is involved in making such a selection, right? So we didn't took any generality. So simply we took. Next, in this situation, the mass m1 collides with mass m2, that is stationary. That is stationary. And the situation you can see in the figure, right? That only I am saying from starting onwards. This is what m1, this is what m2. m2 is at rest. So the velocity of m2 is, the initial velocity of the m2 is 0. The initial velocity of m1 is v1 into I. So just because with your sense you can realize, that is what, when the velocity of m1 is greater than the velocity of m2, then only m1 is going on to hit and to collide with m2. Otherwise, how collision will take place? In this situation, no problem, because we are saying that m2 is at rest. m1 is only in motion with this much of initial velocity. Even though both are in motion, when the velocity of m1 is greater than m2, then only m1 will go and collide with m2, right? Okay. So in this, whatever the situation we consider to discuss this topic collision, here m2 is at rest. The initial velocity of m1 is v1 into I, right? After collision, this is the path in which m1 is coming, this is the path in which m2 is coming. So the final velocity of m1 is v1f. The final velocity of m2 is v2f. Okay, it is the x-axis, right? So it is theta 1 and it is theta 2, right? So this is the angle made by direction of motion of m1 with the horizontal after collision. This is what direction of this angle theta 2 is the direction of motion of m2 with the horizontal after collision. This is the angle, this is the angle between direction of motion of m2, right, with the horizontal after collision. After collision, okay, that is right. See here, collision of mass m1, right, collision of mass m1 with a stationary mass m2. This is what he is saying, what is there in the picture, he is saying, right? The masses m1 and m2 fly off, right? The masses m1 and m2 fly off in different directions, right? So we shall see that there are relationships which connect the masses, the velocities and the angles, right? The velocities and the angles, which are the relationships, okay, right? Next, elastic and inelastic collisions. Elastic and inelastic collisions, right? I told you, collisions are different types, but here we are going to discuss about two types. One is elastic collision, another one is inelastic collision. Okay, right? So what is elastic collision? What is inelastic collision? Right? Two things. Okay. So collision is an interaction among bodies within short interval of time, and in one collision there is a chance for exchange of momentum and energy among the bodies, right? Okay. Here we saw one situation. So in that situation, what is happening? I already explained you. So what happened m1? What happened to m2 after collision? And before collision, what is m1 and what is m2? What about their velocities? And what about their final velocities? And what about the angles made by direction of motion of m1 with the horizontal and angle made by direction of motion of m2 with the horizontal, right? So that's all I told you. Okay. Now see here, in all collisions, the total linear momentum is conserved. So what is linear momentum? Is a product of mass and velocity. Linear momentum is a product of mass and velocity, and it is a scalar quantity, and the SI unit is kg meter per second, and the CGS unit is gram centimeter per second, and the dimensional formula is m power 1 L power 1 t power minus 1 t power minus 1, right? So this is the information about linear momentum. Okay, right. In all collisions, the total linear momentum is conserved. So what is meant by conservation of linear momentum? That is the general doubt what we are having. The initial momentum of the system is equal to the final momentum of the system. What is system? Suppose if you see this example here, by combining these two, that is what M1 and M2, we can call it as one system. We can call by combining M1 and M2 as a system. So that's why here the initial momentum of the system is equal to the final momentum of the system, right? Okay. So the initial momentum of the system means the sum of the momentum of M1 and M2. Final momentum of the system means the sum of M1 and M2 after collision. After collision. Okay, right. When two objects collide, for example, when two objects collide, and here in our example also two objects only there, that is what M1 and M2. When two objects collide, the mutual impulsive forces acting over the collision in time delta t cause a change in their respective momenta, right? So when two objects collide, the mutual impulsive forces acting over the collision in time delta t can cause a change in their respective momenta. That is what you know what is the relation between momentum and force. We can write like this, so that is what delta p is equal to F into delta t is the formula. From that we can write delta p1 is equal to F12 into delta t, delta p2 is equal to F21 into delta t, right? Here what is F12 and what is F21? F12 is the force exerted on the first particle by the second particle. F21 is the force exerted on the second particle. F21 is the force exerted on the second particle by the first particle, right? That is what about F12 and F21. Similarly, from Newton's third law, you know very well, F12 is equal to minus F21. F12 is equal to minus F21, right? So this you can write it as minus F12, minus F1. Otherwise, this you can write it as minus F21, right? So from these two things, you can say that delta P1 plus delta P2 is equal to 0. Delta P1 plus delta P2 is equal to 0, right? So this is what when this conclusion is true, right? So this conclusion is true even though the forces vary in a complex fashion during collision time delta t. Okay, that is, and since the third law is true at every instant, the total impulse on the first object is equal and opposite to that on the second. I will repeat once again. The total impulse on the first object is equal and opposite to that on the second object, right? That is what I am saying. Next, on the other hand, in some other direction, what about the total kinetic energy? See here, on the other hand, the total kinetic energy of the system is not necessarily conserved. Momentum is conserved, but kinetic energy, listen carefully, kinetic energy is not necessarily conserved. So may or may not, okay, right? So the impact and deformation during collision may generate heat and sound, right? You know very well, some objects are rigid. For example, if you see the collision between two marbles, what happens? One marble may be broken. Suppose if you see the collision between two rubber balls, right? Instantly, for a short interval of time, the ball will deform. But after a certain time, what will happen? Again, it will regain into its original position. Right? So that's why here we can't say, it depends upon the rigidity of a body. body. Suppose for example, if you see the accident, for example, accident between lorry and car. So when a lorry is going to hit the car, deformation takes place, right? So in the deformation, certain part of car will bend and certain amount will lose. So there you can see, there you can experience some heat energy, right? So that is the loss of energy. Right? In this situation, how can you say that kinetic energy is conserved? That is what initial kinetic energy of the system is equal to final kinetic energy of the system. You cannot say. Because certain amount of energy is going to lost by the body, either of the body, and that energy is received by air molecules. So when there is a loss of energy, how can you say that the kinetic energy of the system before collision is equal to the kinetic energy of the system after collision, right? So here whatever the example I took, that is the accident between a car and lorry, law of conservation of kinetic energy doesn't holds good. So it is invalid. Okay. So similarly, suppose if you take that is what law of conservation of kinetic energy, so that is not valid here. But if you see that what is that the collision between two primary particles, like what is electron and proton, otherwise electron and electron, otherwise proton and proton, there you can expect no loss of energy. When there is no loss of energy, then you can say that the kinetic energy of the system before collision is equal to the kinetic energy of the system after collision. Okay. So in one collision, when there is no loss of energy, we can say that law of conservation of kinetic energy is valid. Law of conservation of kinetic energy is valid. Okay. But one more important point here itself, you need to remember, I am not talking about the exchange of energy. Exchange of energy, no problem. But the problem is loss of energy. Whatever the example I took, that is the collision between lorry and car. If both the bodies are exchanging energy, means no problem. It doesn't lead to the loss of energy. But whenever the energy lost by either of these two bodies will absorbed by the air molecules, then law of conservation of kinetic energy is going to violate. So then you can say that this is the collision which is not satisfying the law of conservation of kinetic energy. Okay, right. Now I want to define two types of collisions. One is, observe carefully, the collision in which law of conservation of the collision in which law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of kinetic energy holds good. Then such collision is said to be elastic collision, right? Okay. See here, the collision in which only the law of conservation of momentum is valid. Only law of conservation of momentum is valid. So law of conservation of kinetic energy is invalid. Then such type of collision is said to be inelastic collision. Inelastic collision. Okay, right. So in this inelastic collision, I want to say one point here. See this: a collision in which the two particles move together after the collision, then it is called as completely inelastic collision. Completely inelastic collision. Okay, but it is somewhat ideal to imagine that is what complete elastic collision. Perfect or complete elastic collision is somewhat ideal. Okay, right. But in case of inelastic collision, after collision, if both the bodies are traveling by combined, means it can be that collision is said to be perfectly or completely inelastic collision. Okay, right. Now we are going to say that that is what collisions in one dimension. Okay, collisions in one dimension, right? See here. So it is somewhat mathematical derivation. So I will explain you step by step. You please focus, right? See this. Consider a completely inelastic collision. Consider a completely inelastic collision in one dimension. right, in one dimension, right. Then just now I showed you one picture. In that picture, if theta 1 is equal to theta 2 is equal to 0, then m1 into v1i is equal to m1 plus m2 into vf. Am I right? Because the initial velocity of m2 is 0. It is from law of conservation of momentum, right. So from this you can write vf as a subject, that is what vf is equal to m1 by m1 plus m2 into v1i, right. So it is equation number 1. For our convenience, we are assuming that this one as equation 1. Okay, right. Next, the loss in kinetic energy on collision is, so I already told you, it is what inelastic collision means. Definitely there is a loss in kinetic energy, right. So what is the loss in kinetic energy? See here, 1 by 2 into m1 into v1 I square minus 1 by 2 into m1 plus m2 into vf square. This is what loss in kinetic energy. Okay, right. And from this step, so what is the difference between these two? Just here in place of vf, he is writing this value, that is what m1 by m1 plus m2 into v1i. Okay, so then you will get this one, that is what m1 square, right, m1 square by m1 plus m2 into v1i square. Okay, from this step you can write this one, no, that is what taking this half m1 v1i square as a common, that is what 1 minus m1 by m1 plus m2, right. This is what from this step we are writing this one, right, 1 minus m1 by m1 plus m2. From this step, this is the step, observe carefully, 1 by 2 into m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into v1i square. It is what change in kinetic energy. It is what change in kinetic energy. Okay, right. Next, see this, consider next an elastic collision. So till now we are in a discussion about inelastic collision. Just consider an elastic collision, right. So if you consider an elastic collision, same thing, that is what theta 1 is equal to theta 2 is equal to 0. And the definition of elastic collision, where the law of conservation of kinetic energy and law of conservation of momentum both are valid. Okay, right. So from law of conservation of momentum you can write this one, no. Okay, right. Next, from law of conservation of kinetic energy you can write this one, no. So here 1 by 2 irukku, here also 1 by 2 irukku, here also 1 by 2 irukku. Finally these three will get cancelled, so that this is the expression, right. So it is like equation 3 and it is like equation 2. From the above two equations, that is what 2 and 3, from these two equations you can write this one, that is what m1 v1 into I, right, m1 v1 into I, that is into v2f minus v1 into I, right, m1 v1 into I is equal to, this one, m1 v1 into I into v2f minus v1 into I is equal to m1 v1f into v2f minus v1f, or the same thing, or v2f, this is what v2f into v1i minus v1f is equal to v1i square minus v1f square, v1i square minus v1f square. So that you can also write like this, that is what hence, right. So from this step, right, from this step you can write this one, v2f is equal to the formula a square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. Okay, a square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. So by using that formula you can get this equation from this, that is what v2f is equal to v1 into I plus v1 into f. This is what v1 into I plus v, that is what equation 4, right. So from 2 and 4, this is 2, no, it is 4, no. So from these two, that is what, from equations 2 and 4, from equations 2 and 4, you can write this one, that is what, V1F is equal to m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into V1I. Similarly, V2F is equal, see here ma, V2F is equal to 2m1 into V1I divided by m1, so simple ma, 2m1 by m1 plus m2 into V1I, into V1I. Okay, so this is what here the unknowns V1F and V2F, these two, this one and this one. So the unknown V1, why these are unknown? These are the things which are after collision. Before collision theriyum, but after collision theriyadu. That we are going to find by using these two equations. That is the very important thing. Okay. So the unknowns V1F and V2F are obtained in terms of the knowns. So what are the knowns? M1, M2, V1I. V1I. V2I is 0 because I already told you M2 is at rest before collision. M1 is only in motion towards M2 with V1I initial velocity. Okay, right. This is what about the derivations of these two. That is, we are writing unknowns in terms of knowns. That is the only thing we did here in case of, that is what, elastic collision, so that we can find the unknowns. Okay, so in case of inelastic collision, we found the loss in kinetic energy, right? That is also in terms of known. Remember one thing, that is what, right? So here in case of inelastic collision or elastic collision, we are writing unknowns in terms of knowns. That is the only thing we did here. This helps us a lot while solving the numerical problems related to the topics of elastic and inelastic collisions. Okay, right. So you can see some special cases here. That is what, see here. If two masses are equal, for example, m1 is equal to m2, m1 is equal to m2, then what will happen here? If you write m1 is equal to m2, this will become 0, no? Then V1F is equal to 0, no? Right? So if you write m1 is equal to m2, what will happen here? Is 2m1, no? So these two will get cancelled, no? V2F is equal to V1 into I, no? V2F is equal to V1 into I, that is, okay, right. So you can also say that the first mass comes to rest and pushes off the second mass with its initial speed on collision. See, based on these two things, you can say that the first mass comes to rest and pushes off the second mass with its initial speed on collision, okay, that is. Similarly, if you go for case 2, that is what, m2 is double greater than m1. m2 is double greater than m1 means when compared to the m2, you can neglect m1. Then you can say like this, V1F is approximately equal to minus V1 into I, and V2F is approximately equal to 0. V2F is approximately equal to 0. So here what can we say, that the heavier mass is undisturbed while the lighter mass reverses its velocity. See here, heavier mass is undisturbed, but the lighter mass goes into the same direction in which direction it came. That is the reason here minus is present, no? That is, okay, that's what, right? So it is case 1 and case 2. Okay, right. So in this class we discussed what is collision and what is elastic collision and what is inelastic collision, and when the collision is in one dimension. In case of collisions in one dimension, we derived an expression for change in kinetic energy in terms of known things. Similarly, in case of elastic collision, we derived an expression for unknown things in terms of known things. There itself we discussed two cases, right? Case 1 and case 2. Okay, ma? Thank you. So we will continue this in the next class. Thank you.